Welcome to Rebel Speak and Be Encouraged. And today's encouragement is out of Psalm 109, where David is very angry. He's very angry. And we're going to get to a word of encouragement, but it says, "Oh God, whom I praise. Oh God, whom I praise. Don't stand silent and aloof. While the wicked slander me and tell lies about me. They are all around me with their hateful words, and they fight against me for no reason. I love them, but they try to destroy me, even as I am praying for them. They return evil for good and hatred for my love." So there's this intense imbalance. There's this intense relational imbalance at the beginning of Psalm 109. That David's in this situation with folk persecuting him, and it's not right. These are people that he cares about. These are people that he feels he's been loyal to, and they're people that there's no common ground between them. Righteous behavior doesn't bring forth from them righteous action, and kindness doesn't bring forth from them kindness. There's something about their form of wickedness that's deeply vile to David and costly, really, really costly. And he goes on from verse 6, following that introduction, so aggressive in a way that's completely unfamiliar to me. Like, this is not how I think. Even of my enemies, I do not think this way. But I am comfortable thinking this way about genuine evil, practices out in the world that destroy human lives. I can ask God destroy practices and destroy belief systems and destroy patterns of behavior that are ruining human lives. But David here says, arrange for an evil person to turn on him, send an accuser to bring him to trial. When his case is called for judgment, let him be pronounced guilty. Count his prayers as sin. God, don't back him up. There's this way that David in this psalm reminds me quite a bit of Jonah. When Jonah just says, no, I don't want to go and be a prophet, right, to Assyria, because you're going to forgive them, and what they've done is heinous. It's not, your forgiving them is out of balance. And there's a way in this psalm that David is saying, God, don't let me go down a bit. It's very harsh. May all his offspring die. May his family's name be blotted out in a single generation. There's profound anger, visceral anger in David. And he wants this person who's truly become his enemy, who's truly distorting reality. He wants him gone. May Yahweh never forget the sins of his ancestors. So instead of forget the sins of my ancestors, don't forget the sins of his ancestors. May his mother's sins never be erased from the record. May these sins always remain before you, Yahweh. There's a way that we see kind of a roughness here of how David feels when David's furious. May those sins always remain before Yahweh, but may his name be cut off from human memory. For he refused all kindness to others. So for David, it's not just I don't like him. This is a person who is functioning in a way that's so destructive. He refused all kindness to others. He persecuted the poor and needy. This is someone who is advancing his own position while he destroys the lives of those around him. This is real destruction. And he hounded the brokenhearted to death. So I'm just going to reread this verse 16. For he refused all kindness to others. He persecuted the poor and needy, and he hounded the brokenhearted to death. There's something about the person that David is speaking of, that there's no soundness in them. And it's something, I think it's interesting because somehow David was in a relationship with this person and was loving them, and it turns and he sees how destructive and through evil this person is. He loved to curse others, and now please curse him. He never blessed others. Now don't you bless him. That's the part that reminds me a bit of Jonah. Don't bless him. Don't allow him. Don't allow this one to prosper in a way that they stand by that prospering and see God's for me, not for you. Don't back this person up, God. Cursing is as much a part of him as his clothing or as the water he drinks or the rich food he eats. There's something about this person in their position of privilege that makes them intolerable. It's not fair. God, if you back them up, it's not fair. This person is not kind to the poor and needy, and this person hounds the brokenhearted, people that are in a vulnerable and difficult place. There's a hounding of them. Now may his curses return and cling to him like clothing. May they be tied around him like a belt. May his own curses kind of boomerang back into his life. May what he's wished upon others happen to himself. We see that with in Esther, where Haman, he builds a gallows for Mordecai, but it's Haman himself who dies upon that gallows. May those curses become Yahweh's punishment for my accusers. Okay, so may the way that this one has cursed me become actually how Yahweh operates on my behalf for those that accuse me and attack me. Those who are plotting against my life. There's such a profound, vulnerable state of vulnerability in David here. And then he's going to turn it. But deal well with me, O sovereign Yahweh, for the sake of your own reputation, and that calling upon God's reputation. God, if this person and this plan, these plans or this plan destroys me, then your reputation, it's not good for your reputation, God. It's not good for your reputation. So please, for the sake of your own reputation, deal well with me. Rescue me because you are so faithful and good. This reminding God, there's something about David is in the midst of a circumstance that is deeply destructive. It's not mythical, it's real. There's someone that's hounding him in such a way that there's no way out. Someone seeking his own destruction in such a way that he reacts. And here we see just this thing of David turning to Yahweh. Rescue me because you are so faithful and good. For I am poor and needy, and my heart is full of pain. There's kind of, right? I'm so angry, but here's the real thing. God, I'm heartbroken. I am fading like a shadow at dusk. That's an interesting imagery, isn't it? How shadow there. At dusk, there's no more shadows. I'm fading like a shadow at dusk. I am falling like a grasshopper that is brushed aside. I have no strength. I have no stamina. My knees are weak from fasting. So this isn't a problem that's brand new. There's a way that David has been orienting David's self towards God through fasting, asking for help. God, I'm now weak from fasting and I'm skin and bones. I have fasted on behalf of this circumstance for such a long time that I've lost weight. Okay. I am an object of mockery to people everywhere. God, there's something about my circumstance that has people mocking me out loud right now, God. They're mocking me out loud right now. When they see me, they shake their heads. To me, I'm almost hearing David say, God, is this okay with you? Is it okay with you that my enemies are treating me like this? Is it okay with me that this horrible person has the advantage and I'm the one in this situation completely disadvantaged? Help me, Yahweh, my God. Save me because of your unfailing love. What does he turn to? Not that he's better, not that he's a better person, that he's the person in right relationship with Yahweh. He relationally turns to Yahweh in this desperate place where one who is completely unkind, completely self-interested, is seeking his destruction. Someone that once upon a time he had love for, fondness for. I love them, but they try to destroy me. Someone with the power and the authority to turn his life upside down, and he's just a grasshopper that they can just flick. So what? Help me, Yahweh, my God. Save me because of your unfailing love. Let them see that this is your doing, that you yourself have done it, Yahweh. Save me in a way that's memorable, visible. Save me in a way that they understand who you are, because they're off, they're wrong, they're crooked. Then let them curse me if they like, but you will bless me. God, when I know your favor, they can say whatever. When I know, God, that you're backing me up. When I know, God, that I'm not at the mercy of evil. When I know, God, I'm not at the mercy of unkindness. When I know, God, that there's a way that you've drawn a line in the sand that says, no, I've got your back. They're free to mock me. They're free to call out their curses. Let them curse me if they like, but you will bless me. But you will bless me. And it's this thing in David where we see this process. And I just want to talk about the process when we're really disillusioned and destabilized. And that word destabilized has been in my mind and heart a lot the last several days since Easter. We're in situations where we are destabilized and God is our stability. There's this thing where we see David immersing David's very angry, aggressively angry, very hurt. And then there's this immersing of himself in the character of God that just puts everything correct. Everything's correct, okay? Then let them curse me if they like, but you will bless me. When they attack me, they will be disgraced. But I, your servant, will go right on rejoicing. See, there's something like we talk about, or I've heard the expression sea legs, like it takes a while to get your sea legs. He's getting his praise legs, right? He's getting his wait a minute. I'm not a grasshopper. I'm not a grasshopper because of who God is in me and who I am in God. Go ahead, behave badly. Go ahead, behave badly. When they attack me, they will be disgraced. But I, your servant, will go right on rejoicing. There's an orientation of David that just starts getting right and strong and bold. Make their humiliation obvious to all. Clothe my accusers with disgrace, but I will give repeated thanks to Yahweh, praising him to everyone. For he stands beside the needy, ready to save them from those who condemn them. The orientation of God is towards the needy who again and again and again in culture have no standing. They have no standing to the likes of this person that David's written Psalm 109 for. That there are the privileged and the entitled, and they posture themselves and they take and they despise and they hate you for who you are. They hate you for what you're not. They orient themselves towards your demise. And here's David, but I will give repeated thanks to Yahweh, praising him to everyone. My orientation in the midst of this horrendous situation will be praise. And that's a shift because he was speaking of fasting. My knees are weak from fasting and I am skin and bones. I am an object of mockery to people everywhere. When they see me, they shake their heads. God, something's not right. And then he goes from God, something's deeply not right, to help me, O Yahweh my God, save me because of your unfailing love. That's it. Your unfailing love. I am not alone in this moment. I am not alone in this circumstance. I am not abandoned. I am not forsaken. I am not caving in. I don't care how powerful, how cruel, how evil you are. I am not abandoned because of who my God is. I am not. And I want you to feel the power and authority of this psalm in the lives of the least of these throughout the land. People who, in the midst of great injustice, find their heart oriented to God's unfailing love, and they feel the goodness of God in a world so bent, so broken, so crooked. And there's a righteousness, right? Rectitude, right? 90 degrees strength, a righteousness that walks in, that allows them in the midst of horrible injustice to not be consumed by the enemy, but to be strengthened by the goodness of who God is in the midst of their life. The God that does not betray them, regardless of the narrative that the world speaks. Look, you're betrayed. No, I'm not. No, I feel God's unfailing love. Help me, O Yahweh, my God. Save me because of your unfailing love. Let them see that this is your doing. Move in a way that everyone around me sees salvation in my life. Save me from this moment. Save me from this impending doom. Save me from this inertia of destruction. Move in a way that changes this narrative. God, move it in a way that only you can, that when you move, all will see and know it's you, Yahweh. Then let them curse me if they like, but you will bless me. My life is not oriented to their cursing. They can curse away. It's who you are, Yahweh. When they attack me, they will be disgraced, by the way. There's a way that God's got my back. God's got my right. God's got my left. God's got my forward, got my backwards, God above and below. I am safe in the arms of Yahweh. Even as I walk through incredibly difficult things, I'm not abandoned. When they attack me, they will be disgraced, but I, your servant, will go right on rejoicing. What? They're attacking me. As they attack me, they're going to be disgraced ultimately, but in the midst of that attack, I rejoice. I rejoice because of who you are, Yahweh. Make their humiliation obvious to all. Clothe my accusers with disgrace. But I will give repeated thanks to Yahweh, praising him to everyone. You, God, deal with this. But as for me, I will repeatedly thank you, Yahweh, and I will praise you to everyone. This is going to be my stance in this moment, in this time, in this hour of betrayal. It's going to be a stance of praise because of who you are, Yahweh. Not because of who this bully, this cruel, wicked person that the beginning of this psalm is all about. For he stands beside the needy. This is what David's remembered. Yahweh stands beside the needy, ready to save them from those who condemn them. I just want to say that today into all kinds of situations and circumstances where injustice is afoot, beleaguering, mistreating, calculating, seeking its own gain. I want to say this, for Yahweh stands beside the needy. That's not mythical. It's actual. God works. Like I can just think of places where betrayal is afoot, even now, and God is backing up the needy. God is exposing lies. God is doing damage to the arrogant. Damage to the arrogant. Ready to save them from those who condemn them. That's my be encouraged. The right orientation to Yahweh in our times of grave difficulty, where real enemies, not perceived enemies, not rumored enemies, but real enemies that are wanting to advance against our well-being and take what is not theirs to take, and to cast us into a light. I almost want to say too, be very careful what you do with your mouth. Be very careful how you speak about people. Be very careful. It's a time where God is lifting righteousness up in the land. God's lifting up righteousness. It might come in unpredictable places, but where there's been righteousness, God is silencing the mockers. He's silencing the scoffers. He's silencing them. He's silencing them in a way, as David says here, for all to see. He's silencing them. God, there's a silencing of evildoers. There's a silencing. Do I think all of them will go away? Not at all. I'm not even, that's not my point. There's a move of God in the land. There's a move of God in the land that's taken where the enemies exaggerated and attacked God's people, and God's rightening it. God's rightening it for all to see. That the ways of the righteous will, the ways of the righteous, let them see that this is your doing, that you yourself have done it, Yahweh. There's a move of God that's showing, let them see. People will see what Yahweh, wow, let them see that this is your doing. There's a seeing that this is the doing of Yahweh. Let them see that this is your doing, that you yourself have done it, Yahweh. There's a seeing, see and believe. That's part of it. That's been spoken over me. There's those with faith, but there's those of us that see and believe. I want you to see where the enemy's been exaggerating about your weaknesses, been working against you, disempowering you, pulling the carpet out from under you. I even feel disfiguring you in ways. Watch. God is writing. He's writing. He's writing. He's writing. He's writing. He's correcting. He's putting aright things that are wrong in your life and mine. Be blessed. Be encouraged.